Jessie Holmes wins first Iditarod on longest trail in race history. Nome, Alaska. Jessie Holmes charged into Nome early Friday, securing his first ever Iditarod trail sled dog race victory on the longest course in the event's history. The 43-year-old musher and his team of 10 dogs were escorted down Front Street by a convoy of police cars as temperatures hovered around 0 degrees. Hundreds of fans braved the cold to cheer him on as his lead dogs, Polar and Hercules, guided the team under the finish arch at 2:55 a.m. "It's hard to put into words, but it's a magical feeling," Holmes said after crossing the finish line. For Holmes, the moment was years in the making. "I have nothing to stop smiling about," he said. "Everything is going my way. I should never feel a down moment in my life. If I died tomorrow, I'd die the happiest man." Moments after his victory, Holmes walked down the line of his dogs, petting each one and treating them to steaks. He jumped into the crowd to hug fans and shake hands, expressing gratitude for his team's performance. "I'm really proud of these dogs. I love them," he said. "And they did it. They deserve all the credit." Race officials presented Holmes with a check for $57,200 for his win. A historic Iditarod route. Originally from Alabama, Holmes now resides in interior Alaska, where he works as a carpenter. He also gained recognition as a cast member on Life Below Zero, a reality TV show documenting life in Alaska's remote wilderness. This was Holmes' 8th Iditarod appearance. He had previously placed in the top 10 nearly every year, finishing as high as 3rd and earning Rookie of the Year honors in 2018. He completed this year's race in 10 days, 14 hours, and 55 minutes, the longest winning time in over 2 decades. "Those were 10 quality days," Holmes joked at the finish line. "I got my money's worth." Mushers faced the longest Iditarod route in history this year, covering an estimated 1,128 miles. The race is typically closer to 1,000 miles, but poor snow conditions in south-central Alaska forced officials to shift the trail north. It marked just the 4th time the event has started in Fairbanks. Climate specialist Rick Thoman predicts these kinds of changes will become more frequent as Alaska's climate continues to warm. Holmes savored every moment on the trail. "It's not just about this moment now," he said at the finish. "It's about all those moments along the way. Being up in the Blueberry Hills, seeing the most amazing sunset you could imagine, watching the moon shimmer on the glazed snow, and the northern lights dancing overhead." Throughout the race, Holmes also reflected on past Iditarod champions, including the late 4-time winner Lance Mackey. "I just wanted to join that club," he said. "I've dreamed of this for a long time. It's unreal." A tight battle to the finish. Holmes' victory wasn't without a fight. This year's race saw an intense battle between Holmes, Matt Hall, and Paige Drobny, each vying for their first Iditarod title. "They're incredible competitors," Holmes said. "I never once thought I had this thing until we made it over Cape Nome." All 3 mushers hail from interior Alaska, with Holmes and Hall sharing a long history. Holmes recalled a moment on the trail when he saw Hall and shouted, "Man, 16 years ago, in Eagle, can you believe this? Here we are, leading the Iditarod." Hall, who finished as runner-up last year, and Drobny, who had previously placed as high as 5th, both took turns leading the race. Drobny was the early frontrunner, charging into Galena mile 369 in first place. From there, the lead position shifted several times as she, Hall, and Holmes leapfrogged each other. In the final quarter of the race, Hall briefly overtook Holmes. After Koyuk, but Holmes reclaimed the lead. By the time he reached White Mountain, 77 miles from the finish, he had built a commanding hours-long gap over Hall and Drobny. Brutal trail conditions. This year's race was not only longer but also more challenging due to rough trail conditions. Mushers battled through stretches of deep, soft snow and even endured a sandstorm early on. Further along the route, between Kaltag and Eagle Island, hardened snow machine tracks created a brutally rough 70-mile section that Drobny described as crap. Strong headwinds along the coast added to the difficulty. Beyond the tough conditions, the 2024 Iditarod also saw a historically small field, with only 33 mushers starting the race, tied with 2023 for the lowest number ever. 8 mushers dropped out along the way, including one who was forced to withdraw after a dog on his team died. Additionally, 2 rookies were removed from the race on Wednesday for falling too far behind the pack.